This episode of Captured Pittsburgh Darkroom has been made possible by generous contributions from Friendship, Perk and Brew, Small Universe, and Captured Identity. You're listening to the song How Long by ANDRÉ COSTELLO and the Cool Miners.
I mean, I imagine you're not going to ask me about my first photo.
No.
So if you have to make it up,
Word, yeah.
We'll grab your phone back. You can get on Google real quick and find an image we can use.
I got some shit. Yeah, no.
This guy's got it.
I've
He's got it
dabbled.
covered.
I went to art school. Do you bleep stuff if I swear, by the way?
I don't know, do we really?
You should. You should just do random bleeps over what I say.
Hi everybody, Adam Thomas here for Capture Pittsburgh Darkroom. Thanks for joining us again today. Once more, we're joined by another Pittsburgh musician today on the proverbial darkroom couch, I guess. Is that what we're calling it now? I don't know. Anyway, joining me today is ANDRÉ COSTELLO of ANDRÉ COSTELLO and the Cool Miners. ANDRÉ, thanks a lot for being here, man.
How's it going, man?
Oh, another day, right? No, seriously, man, we really appreciate you being here.
Another day, another dime.
That's right. Just very quickly, obviously we're going to dive into the new record a little bit and some other things going on with you, but can you just briefly give some folks out there that aren't aware of you some of, your background, in and out of music, I guess, just to get a little feel for that?
My sort of like, way of thinking about songs is, if I can't, when writing, if I can't play it by myself on an acoustic guitar and be able to sing and have it be listenable, then it's probably not the best choice.
Right.
So I kind of stick to that. And actually in the latest album, we kind of strayed from that sort of, course.
It's your Sgt. Pepper.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nothing playable. And no, just teasing.
Yeah, it's not.
No. So, don't buy it. No, just kidding.
Yeah.
You guys have been around for a few years now. I know I've personally seen you guys play since, late 2014 maybe or something like that. When was the Cool Miners officially put together?
I think I put out my little, the solo thing with Tumbleweed on it. And I actually called it says ANDRÉ COSTELLO and Cool Miners on the thing.
Yeah. I
wanted some sort of ambiguity to make it seem like, oh, there's a band, but there's not a band. I just recorded everything, with GarageBand on my home computer. I like that idea of pretend. I don't know, like Gorillaz.
Yeah.
That band is pretends that it's like these four anime characters.
And it's just, what's his name from Blur?
Yeah, it's just a dude from Blur.
Yeah.
But it's cool because it adds this mystique to it, this little bit of mystery in there. So I tried doing that, and I did for a little bit, and then
when was that? When was the first?
That was around 2012, I think,
okay.
2011, and I put that one out, and that's only available on Bandcamp, which I'm probably gonna wipe it from my record for a while, and then maybe remix it and release it again in the future.
That's cool.
Yeah, there's some songs on there that I think we still play them out a lot. Like Tumbleweed is a mainstay, but it's not really available on Spotify or anywhere to purchase except for this weird lo-fi early version of it that's on Bandcamp, which by the time you're watching this, it might not be there.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right, bootleg trade start.
Yeah.
So when did the actual lineup start?
Oh yeah, to answer your question, it was probably around 2013.
Yeah.
I think.
Cool.
Yeah.
So I remember, for me, I'll ask you the question and most people get asked, but as far as influences, I don't, I know what my first impression was. First time I saw you guys, I was put in mind of I don't know, a little bit of Roxy Music was in there, the Brian Ferry thing, and because there was a little bit of rock, there was a little bit of soul there. There was a little bit of these little ambient spaces now and then where I really liked it. It was a different thing than what I was used to in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it was cool because it was normally you'd have to find some band from England or whatever to get into that kind of vibe. And I was like, wow, someone's doing that here? So what kind of influenced you in the early goings then?
Well, I think like those like '70s songwriters like Neil Young and Bob Dylan kind of falls into that too.
Yeah,
It's a little
yeah.
older than, but like that's sort of just like being emotive with how you sing and like being a little bit less about attitude, and just trying to be have this level of sincerity and like just sort of like an honesty through imagery and things like that is those are qualities that I like to adhere to, and so that kind of guided it forward. The project or my songwriting, that's where it comes from. But and so I said a minute ago, about 2013 is like whenever I started having this lineup.
Yeah.
I don't think that's true. I had another.
Strike that.
I had a different lineup. My roommates, which is Michael Prada and Cynthia Thomas, and they it was a 3-piece, but then that kind of fell apart, and that I don't know, we just stopped playing out, and I found actual people that played instruments, like Cynthia and Michael, really great and awesome. They like as roommates, they did a really amazing job as drummers and bassists. Where neither of them actually that wasn't their their calling or passion, but like I mean, it could be their calling, but it wasn't their main focus at that point.
Well, the lineup you've got now is fantastic. Man.
Right on, yeah, cool, thank you.
No, you guys, there's a nice chemistry there.
Yeah, we've gotten to know each other enough that we have that like sort of intuitive sort of way of playing now that really works.
You put your time in, and that's how that usually goes. So, you guys are with Misra, Jeff's label. That's pretty good experience so far.
Yep.
Don't worry, Jeff won't see this. So you can say whatever.
Better not.
I'm just teasing, Jeff. So, how long have you been with that label? With the last record was with them. Right?
No, it's I was a part of Wild Kindness Records.
That's right.
Before Jeff had owned it. Right. It was in Youngstown at that point.
That's right.
And my friend David Pokrivnik, who I knew through my art school friends from the Art Institute, he had started this cool like indie label. He had gained a lot of like really amazing connections, like Calvin Johnston from out west, what was it, K Records, and like he just gained like all these like awesome contacts from like booking at in Youngstown at Cedars. He would kind of bid around the same level that like Manny would with the Garfield artwork. So like it's kind of on that level of like, which I mean that's all the great bands like whenever they like Arcade Fire, like everybody whenever they first come to Pittsburgh, if they're one of those like longtime indie bands, like they probably played at the Garfield Artworks or Cedars in Youngstown. So David had me on the label, and that's where I released that Tumbleweed thing. So like right after that, and then we did Summer's Best, which was like a 3-song EP, and that was through Wild Kindness. David had a kid, and just like his interest changed, and he was going to dissolve the label. And then Jeff stepped in and was like, I love this label. I want to rescue it. And then he did. He bought it and brought it to Pittsburgh and then kept it alive.
Yeah, the guys at Spirit are the ones that picked up running that directly.
Yeah, and then he eventually gained Misra and then kind of passed it over to Spirit. So that's like the resident label at Spirit now, which is cool. Yeah. And it's cool that it has a home and the same sort of, it has that same, Spirit has the same sort of niche, like family sort of feel.
Almost like the Factory Records days, so there's like a nightclub. Yeah. And this sort of familial group of label mates. And,
yeah, it's really cool. It's I'm definitely glad that, Wild Kindness made its way over there. I do wish that some of those folks knew anything about Wild Kindness, though. Like, I've talked to some of the other bands, and they're just like, what? And I'm like, yeah, I've been on that label for like 6 or 7 years.
Yeah,
like,
that's fun.
And,
it's this thing. Put out the music. You kids and your
I'm like, you should go to the website.
You're starting to feel like an old man already now. Like that's so dangerous.
Definitely.
Watch that. That's a slippery slope.
Yeah, the one Swamp Walk. I played a show with her, and she was like, I was like telling her about it. And she's like, oh, really? Wow. And then she said something about it during her set, and she was like, but that's ancient history. Get it? Which is a band that's on the new Wild Kindness. And I'm just like, that's a double.
Yeah. So on that note, folks, we're going to take a very short break to pay a few bills here and get you a little bit of info on this month's sponsor on Capture Pittsburgh Darkroom, that being Friendship, Perk, and Brew, right here in the Friendship neighborhood of Pittsburgh. So we'll be back in just a second, all right?
This episode of Captured Pittsburgh Darkroom was filmed at Friendship, Perk, and Brew. They're your source for fresh coffee, Pittsburgh beer, and food made from scratch from locally sourced ingredients. You can find them at 300 South Pacific Avenue in Pittsburgh. Music for today's episode was provided by ANDRÉ and the Cool Miners. Their new album, Resident Frequencies, is on sale now.
All right, and we're back. Thanks again for joining us here at Capture Pittsburgh Darkroom. I'm Adam Thomas, and if you didn't catch the rowdy first half of this episode, I'll save you some time. No, I'm just kidding. Rewind and watch it. We're here with ANDRÉ Costello of ANDRÉ Costello and the Cool Miners, Misro Records, and we're going to be talking about the new album coming up. And, well, a very, very cool piece of news if you guys were not paying attention a little bit further back around February. You missed out on something fairly cool these guys did that I'm hoping catches on. So before we dive into the new record, man, can you tell everybody about, for those that weren't aware, because we do have viewers outside of the region here that might not have known what you guys did, that I thought was one of the coolest ideas ever.
Yeah. But the laser thing.
Yes, the frickin' laser beams on their frickin'.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah. A concert at Carnegie Science Center's.
Yeah, in the children's department of the. I mean, it's the Science Center is kind of like a children's museum.
Yeah.
I kind of want to, just make
preface
that. Yeah, preface with that. So it added to the strangeness of going to a concert there.
Right.
But they, we actually premiered this album, Resident Frequencies, in the planetarium with a laser show, a custom laser show that was set to the album. We played it live. It's like 150 people in there. It was made for it's a perfect setup. It was a perfect setup for it.
It's a good album for that space too, for that kind of an event.
Yeah,
it lends itself.
The venue itself is built for it. There's this wonderful, this perfect semicircle that you just it's made for a band to set up, perform in there.
Yeah.
We brought our own sound system. It's a big deal production. I think we got a lot of it on video with Chris Uren. Is awesome. He does the So Far Sounds thing here in Pittsburgh. He filmed it. We had a horn section. It was really cool.
That's cool.
The only weird thing is that the local media outlets it's so hard to do something different, because anytime it's hard to do something different because everybody that's going to give you any coverage has their mind made up as to what you're doing already. So it's hard to break the mold a little bit. And so we couldn't have more clearly stated this is an album premiere for the few people that are going to be here. They're going to get a CD and but the album isn't out yet. So if you don't come to the show, you won't be able to hear it until we release the singles or the album's actually released here May 11th. And so all the media outlets, they all said, ANDRÉ Costello releases new album at the planetarium. And I'm like, that's amazing that you guys covered this, but that's really important that you call it a premiere. That's a big part of the story that is to be told. And so that was something that was a little bit frustrating. I was like, it could have been absolutely perfect.
Yeah.
But it really was amazing.
It's an idea that I think needs to happen more often. It's just such a perfect, as a kid that grew up going to all those midnight laser shows there, to experience live music in that setting. It
was really cool. The one thing that we didn't count on that while we were playing is that they turn it gets really dark in there.
Yeah.
So I literally couldn't find my guitar that I was wearing during some of the songs.
Even I talked a while back, like, is that still, like, is it still something you guys are exploring doing in other cities at some point?
Yeah, so I want to do it again, and I also, I mean, here in Pittsburgh, I'm going to do it again, but then also I'd really like to actually just go around, tour around, find a way that, do our show there and find a way, like, get all the numbers of, like, how much it costs, get, like, the local connections in the city and be like, this is what you need to make it a cool night, and, like, normalize that type of thing and be like the Johnny Appleseed of, like, planetarium concerts.
Yeah.
And then hopefully, like, these cities will nurture their local culture by having these shows on occasion. But also not to do them too much, too, because they do the laser shows every Saturday, and there's going to be, like, anywhere from, like, 3 to 20 people there.
Right.
But, like, you need to do it,
maybe
make it
once
a
a
rare
month at the
occasion
most.
and keep it a little bit sacred. Like, don't do karaoke laser shows.
Yeah. But there's so much room for, like, synergism in the community, the creative community, wherever it is, not just Pittsburgh, but any other city or university or whatever, do it, because you've got that leeway for, like, graphic designers to step in with some ideas on what they could do with, like, visualizing the record. And it could be a different, animal, basically, from one performance to the next, even though it's the same music.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, there's got to be a way that works out. I mean, given that that's about the size of most of these planetariums, and it's also the size of small clubs, so it's kind of should be an easy wash, but I hope that works, because it's just anybody watching this, if you've got a planetarium, just sitting around your house, whatever.
Give me a call. I'll show you how to
this
do
guy.
It.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm sure you can figure it out.
Right. University planners, do it. Whatever.
Yeah.
No, that's such. I'm just when I saw that, I was so bummed. Like, I wanted to show up there just because I'm just like, nobody's done this. Like, and I got tied up. I couldn't make it. And I felt like the worst person in the world, because But I was glad to see it was so successful, because it's just one of those, like, breakthrough ideas.
It has been done before. It has, but it's just been forgotten.
Yeah.
For whatever reason.
Yeah.
Like,
we'll get it back.
Yeah.
We'll get it back.
Yeah. I mean, it's there. It's like this, like, really unique and crazy thing that's there, and, like, come on, man. Like, I don't know. They should have done a 420 event there. Like, why not? I mean, like,
it's a fixture of the city.
That fact. I think that if once weed's legalized, there'll be. I think, like, you'll see a huge spike in planetarium.
Right.
Concerts.
That's when they'll bring the Pink Floyd stuff back, and
they do it. They still do it.
Do they?
Yeah.
Oh man. See, that's what parenthood ruins.
But it gets weird too.
Cool,
they do like Beatles ones, and they do like what's the band with the 2 robots?
Oh, Daft Punk.
Daft Punk.
Yeah.
They do a Daft Punk one.
Yeah.
They did a Radiohead one whenever I was in high school. But, like, they still do these shows, but they kind of walk the line between, like, children's entertainment.
Yeah.
And kids don't give a crap about, like, anything anymore. I hate them. Can't stand children. I'm just... No, kids are cool.
There's a bleep.
Yeah, just bleep that whole sentence.
Yeah. Can't stand...
No, but, like,
figure it out.
Kids are fidgety. Like, you don't know if they're going to have, like, a really cool... like, experience in there, like, we were waiting to go in for one of our various meetings that we had at the planetarium, which, by the way, it's a great place to have a meeting. There'd be, like, families in there watching the Beatles laser show, and, like, I'd see the families walk out, like, halfway through the thing.
Yeah.
And it's like, because it's it's not
an adult thing.
But then the videos, like, the laser things for the show are, like, literal kids things. Like, there's, like, this little, like, chicken video, like, of, like, this chicken walking down a sidewalk, this little bird thing, and, like, 8 days a week is playing, and it's like, this doesn't fulfill, like, the full potential for psychedelia that, like, it can do. Like,
yeah, it's supposed to work on both levels to be effective.
Yeah.
Right? Kids in it. Yeah. So the new record, man, Resident Frequencies, Misra Records, out May 11th. See, there's your instant plug. So what was the background going into this one? I know you said this one expanded a little more beyond the
Well, we wanted my vision was for this
singer-songwriter
album is to have a couple sort of like radio friendly tunes on there, which we succeed in that, and then also have some just explorative. Is that a word? Explorative.
Yeah, explore it. Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
We'll say it's a word.
Yeah, so we were looking to have like some explorative sort of jams, but not quite jams. You know, like just like lengthy instrumentals.
Yeah.
So that you can like kind of settle into like some of the vibes of the
like
songs.
almost like that Flaming Lips approach sometimes. Like they'll kind of get out there and then they bring it back again. Like they'll get spacey and then it comes back to
yeah.
So, you know what
yeah,
I mean?
so within like a song, like just have like a really blown out, really long instrumental.
Yeah.
Whereas if you cut the instrumentals out, it's just like a 2.5, 3 minute song.
Yeah.
That's like everything you would want in a song. But we just, you know, so you can expand on sort of ideas and have room for that and let the thing just breathe, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It was an exercise in just like in just abandon.
Yeah. Was it tracked live then? Was a lot of
yeah, and so that
live?
was the main thing, is to have like an album where we tracked everything in the same room as a full cohesive band, like we do.
That makes a huge difference.
Yeah, so we and so we really gelled well, and you can hear it in the songs. I wanted it to be really a raw sort of take on the Costello and the Coal Miners band, but it ended up actually being like very produced though, because Nate Campese, who we work with, is a masochist when it comes to hard work in front of a computer screen.
Yeah.
And so like you can't be like, Nate, no, it sounds great, just turn it, just get the levels right, just let it go. He will not be satisfied with that. He has to do crazy shit to it, in and out, like flip it upside down and like do like all these like amazing little flourish fade like aftermarket like awesome little tricks to it.
Yeah.
It ended up being absolutely amazing. And I like that he did that too, because it like took me out of my element and put me through hell. But it also, that's one of the joys of working with Nate, is that like he goes against every one of my instincts, and I do that to him too. So like the product ends up being like really, it's there.
Yeah,
like,
it's almost
you know?
like a constant discovery on one end or the other. Like,
it's great, because if I got everything I wanted, you know, I mean,
then it's only going to be enjoyable for you or whatever, and
I might not learn anything in that sort of occasion, but like, you know, I am looking to do that in the next project, is just be like, Nate, no.
Yeah. Here's me in my bedroom with a guitar, make it happen.
Yeah. Right. So I think the next album is going to be less of the we're all playing in the same room jamming sort of thing, and it's going to be just like focused on actually just writing, like making the best out of like song, you know. And like I said before at the beginning of the meeting about how this conversation before the break, I mentioned that
way back.
Yeah, I mentioned that put songs together in a way that they should be able to survive on their own with just me and a guitar.
Right.
We broke those rules with this album, so it's a little more challenging if I'm out pushing the album by myself.
Right.
So I could have my own acoustic versions of the song.
So we're like stopping and like, okay, this is the part where the drums kind of go, and
I'll do that
just
too.
Imagine this. And
I'd say that while I'm playing.
If you aren't, no, now you will.
Yeah. My live set, my solo set's turning more to a comedy routine too. And I'm thinking of getting one of those little bike horns and put it on the microphone stand. Yeah. And I could just kind of give that a little toot to be like...
a little Brian Wilson touch in there.
Making
like,
it... Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's funny.
We'll be doing that.
What's the first single?
The first single was Broken Noses. And that's about like... you know, dumb bar fights in Elwood City, where I grew up.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. Just like... And that's actually a dumb song. I talked about Attitude earlier too, where it's like, don't write songs about attitude, but that's like, you know, that's like the most attitude-driven song that I've had, where it's like, you know, it's like the boys are back in town song. Like, it's like funny. It's like, oh yeah, cool. You get caught up in the attitude, but then you're like, there's nothing good about like the boys being back in town, like rolling back in and being like, you remember me from high school? I'm back. And it's like, no, that's not cool, dude. like it's not really.
No.
It's not good.
Not a thing.
You should be responsible and not be rolling back in your hometown with your boys.
I just get struck by the oddity of the fact that it was sung by Irishmen. Like, you guys don't even have that in your culture. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I went to high school, I came back, I'm ready to kick ass.
Yeah.
It's like, you're in Ireland. You live, like, down the road from everybody. It's
Yeah.
not even the same attitude there, but, Americans love that. They're all into it. Yeah. Anyhow, Andre, we need to wrap this up,
Yeah, that's probably a good call.
So, can you tell everybody real quick where they can check out the new record, everything else that's going on with you online?
We're doing this crazy blitz between now and the album release where we're pushing a pre-order. It's all at CostelloandTheCoalMiners.com. Should I be talking to this one?
Yeah, that one. We'll have stuff somewhere.
Say CostelloandTheCoalMiners.com. But I do want to tell you about it too. Which
Yes.
we have have a bunch of content that we're like trying to deliver and like put out there and push to the masses and see if like it makes people excited about the record. So we've got like these 3 big videos that we have so far. We put 2 of them out like within a month, which is probably not a good idea, but like we're kind of winging it.
Yeah.
You know, and so doing what is fun and what keeps us interested. So like the first video is Broken Noses, and then we put out another single called How Long, which is the second track on the album. So we're just kind of releasing the whole album
Going
track
down
by
through,
track, it
yeah.
seems like.
So basically, we want everybody to share the living daylights out of everything he's talking about.
It's good. Yeah. It's CostelloandTheCoalMiners.com.
CostelloandTheCoalMiners.com.
Or just Google ANDRÉ COSTELLO on Facebook.
Cool.
The name's really long and
it's not like competition for the same. Yeah.
but yeah, it's
Well,
cool like the Fonzie and
right.
miners like young people.
Right. Not the guys underground.
Right. Correct.
Yeah. That's a whole other. So, folks, thank you so much for joining us on Capture Pittsburgh Darkroom. This has been one of the most fun rides we've had so far in our short history. Look forward to lots more. May 11th, check out the new record, Resonant Frequencies.
And then May 18th is the big show at Karma.
And yeah, stage at Karma. If you guys don't, if you're in the Pittsburgh
You're
area,
seeing this.
it's Kevin Safner's place on the south side. The guy that used to run James Street, for those of you who know the Pittsburgh music scene around here. May 18th is the album release show. It's going to be a lot of fun. These guys always bring it on stage, so if you're in the area, make sure that you come and check that out. All the details are going to be in this nice little window somewhere in this general vicinity for you to take notes, do what you got to do. So on behalf of everybody at Capture Pittsburgh, Andre, thank you so much for being here, man. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Lots of fun.
It's a nice couch, man.
Hey, you know what?
You live here?
We can't take the credit on the couch.
It's a good house, too. I don't know where you sleep, but it's
well,
a cool
you know,
place.
You could always check in on rent. You know, Nick's a good guy here. So,
Cool,
thanks also to everybody here at Friendship, Perk and Brew. Couldn't ask for a better place to host this month's episodes. Hopefully we get to do this again. So we'll see you all next time. Thanks for watching. If you aren't already, make sure you subscribe to our channel. Click the bell for notifications. Please share this and let us know how we're doing in the comments as well. All right? We'll see you next time, guys.
Captured Pittsburgh Darkroom is produced by Jason Fait, Adam Thomas, and Jason Kodat. Produced with the valuable assistance of John Hall and Dave Perlowski. Captured Pittsburgh Darkroom is a Captured Cities production, copyright 2018.